Seth, we talked to you before, and how are you adjusting to? You've had the face shield on for a while, but how are you finding it? Obviously, not being too much of a problem. 5 goals in your last 2 games.
Yeah, I mean it's still tough a little to see, like when pucks get flipped in the air and stuff like that. It's tough, or like when the puck's in your feet. But you kind of get used to it, and hopefully in the next week or two I can take it off because it does suck at the same time.
Dan was saying in your pregame conversation with him just how you feel like you're shooting a little bit more this season. And obviously, again, like I just said, 5 goals in your last 2 games. I can't remember the number overall, but you just seem to have you matched your total, surpassed it actually in 30 games this year. You have 17 goals. Last year you had 16 and 69 or something like that. So what is it different this year versus last year?
I worked on my shot on the off season too. I focused. That was one of the main things I focused on. Not as much stick handling, more of my shot. Obviously, I worked on my stick handling too, but it was one of the big things I wanted to focus on is shooting more. So I kind of planned on shooting a little more in the summer, and it's starting to pay off.
So with that idea, and you just kind of touched on it, but just how validating is that, knowing that now you worked on something really in the summer, and now you're seeing it pay off during the regular season?
Yeah, I mean everything that you want to happen in the regular season starts in the off season, right? So I knew I needed to take a little extra time and shoot more in the off season, and in junior I was a shooter. I just haven't really relied on my shot in my pro career as much, so I really wanted to get back to shooting. And when you shoot, it's never a bad thing either, right? You're creating traffic, you're creating stuff in front. So when you play with a guy like Chibi and Cesar, they're going to go to the net on pucks go in the net too. So it just works out.
You guys played a lot of hockey, and we talked about how tough it was to start the season. You kind of almost got back to 500 just before the Christmas break. So just kind of looking back at the first half of the season, or the first part of the season, just what are your overall thoughts?
I mean, definitely better than last year. It was tough start of the year last year. So obviously we're not in the best spot possible. We still think we can be higher up in the standings. So that's just something that we got to carry over into the second half. Like I said, we're in a way better position than we were last year. So I think if we just keep putting our best foot forward each and every day, we'll win a playoff spot.